Let's begin what's trending. The failed attempt to recall Natacha Akpabio, the senator representing Kogi Central from the Nigerian Senate, has been met with reactions. The Independent National Electoral Commission stated on Thursday that the recall petition did not meet the constitutional requirements because the number of constituents who signed the petition fell short of 50% of the registered voters in her senatorial district. INEC, however, maintained that the Constitution does not limit the number of times a lawmaker can be recalled. Well, in a Facebook post, Natacha described the development as a victory and dedicated it to Nigerians. Let's take Natacha's post on Facebook. She wrote, "On God, it's victory for the people of Nigeria. One battle down, 2 more to go. Deep gratitude to my beloved husband, awesome support team, magnificent people of Kogi Central, and the great people of Nigeria at large. INEC Nigeria, you did well." Well, in the meantime, Senator Akpabio has dared the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, to press charges over the death threat allegation she levied against him during her rally in Kogi State on Tuesday. Well, Natacha spoke on live television saying that her utmost priority is to remain alive. Let's take a look.
What is important to me is to stay alive, because dead men tell no tales. And God forbid, if I had not come out, and if I don't speak about this, and something happens, and they succeed in their plan, how again, like I tell you, there were actually three conversations that happened that day. I spoke only about 2. The third one was quite minute, which is that they should prepare to field in someone who will, just in case I want to contest in 2027, some strong person who will clinch the ticket from me during the primaries. That's the third part of it. The first was my recall. The second was to eliminate me. The third was to put in someone who would take the ticket from me in 2027 if I want to contest. So if you are doubting the recall that we just experienced, are you getting my point?
Are you able to prove this? That's the point. I mean, anyone can make an allegation, but the issue is, are you able to prove it when it comes to it?
Let us get to that bridge. I'm hearing that the Senate President wants to sue me for that. I will tell him to go ahead. We'll meet and we'll cross that bridge.
All right. Natacha Akpabio here, Senator Natacha. She has maintained that her allegations are valid, basically saying that she will provide evidence if the need arises. Well, in the meantime, talking about this recall process, a group under the aegis of the coalition of Kogi Central Concerned Citizens have thanked INEC for validating over 208,000 signatures in their recall petition against Senator Natacha Akpabio, viewing it as proof that the majority of voters in the district have abandoned her, despite falling short of the required threshold. The group maintained that they remain committed to the recall process and accused Natacha of misconduct and divisiveness. They also vowed to pursue the process within constitutional guidelines and demanded transparency from INEC. Our favorite Niger wife, this group, they are not giving up. When I read the statement, I actually laughed for a moment. They don't agree for anybody. What actually is going on here? I'd like for you to tie in all the stories together, especially that video I played earlier of Natacha Akpabio maintaining that her allegations are valid.
Okay, so, wow, where do we begin? Let's begin with the 208,000 plus signatures. Yeah. We've just finished a conversation with the Director of Education and Publicity for INEC, Mrs. Victoria Eta Messi. And she said that those 200, they had not reached the stage of verifying signatures yet. So those that are celebrating that, oh, but they still got 208,000. No, it's not that that was authenticated. They didn't even get to that stage because they already saw that if it were that they were to vet the 208,000, the number wouldn't even be enough anyway. So let's first put that to bed. Now, secondly, with regards to her providing evidence and so forth, I think what everybody wants is for Natacha to follow this process and to follow it through to the very end. she knows her strategy. She knows what her advisors have put together and how they are guiding her. So we are all anticipating when this evidence will drop, because everybody has been shouting evidence.
Yes.
So we are all anticipating for that day when she decides that this is the correct platform and the correct medium, whether it's in the court of law, whether it's on the Senate floor, we don't know. But we're waiting. Those who support her and even those who are against her, we're waiting for that almighty evidence to drop. Now, very quickly, her poster, 2027 and beyond, has gotten people talking.
Yes.
Is she running? And she mentioned in that interview, she was asked, is it that you have gubernatorial ambitions now? And she said, well, if she were to run against Ododo and Yahaya Bello combined, she would beat them.
Yes.
On that ticket.
Yeah.
So interesting to see the development of her political career until 2027 and beyond, because this entire debacle has given her a new level of visibility that, you know, only these types of situations can give you, unplanned, spontaneous. And she said she lives in the now, she lives in the moment.
Yes.
So let's see where it goes. Could she be our first female governor?
Who knows?
Elected governor?
I like your question, Vimbai. And Rufai, I don't know if you watched that interview. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But, you know, she also, towards the end of the interview, said that she doesn't mind a political solution. I mean, it kind of, gives that illusion or, impression that she might want to actually run. And who knows? She's actually quite popular in Kogi State. Rufai.
So if Senator Akpoti runs for governor, this is not going to be the first time. She's actually been a candidate and she did run for governor.
Yes, she did.
In Kogi State under SDP. I remember, in fact, that was the first time we met her and we brought her on this platform. I will remember how she was treated, how she was pushed around, how she was hurt. And we remember the inhumanity that went on. And we remember the perpetrators of that action. We remember those elections in Kogi. We haven't forgotten. And you see, that was what helped her to get the appeal she's now getting, because a lot of people feel that it doesn't speak good of our society that people should be treated this way. In that interview, she said that the helicopter idea, which seems to have caught on with a lot of, the Gen Z generation and people in general, was her husband's idea. And I like the fact that she did, pay tribute, to her husband. Because in all of this, Alema is a real he for she. It takes a brave man to cut off his own business ties with a man that he had a lot of business ties with, that Senator Akpabio, to be able to stand and support his wife. Some men might not be that nice. They'll throw you under the bus sharp, sharp.
Yes.
But thank you so much for standing by your wife.
Yeah.
Then she went ahead to grieve in precise details the meetings that were held and the things that were said. Does she have weaknesses and can she substantiate with evidence? Because she didn't miss words. In fact, she even talked about the time those meetings were held.
Yes.
What we'll reiterate is, please, nothing must happen to Natacha. She must be safe. Then she went ahead, to talk about the fact that she's done nothing wrong, that even the suspension was illegal in the first place, which, yes, she has a point, because the court did stall that suspension, but they went ahead against the courts. Then she went ahead to talk about the plots. As a politician here, she would say she would beat Yahaya Bello and Ododo. We've not tested that in an election. I wouldn't stretch that.
All right.
Yahaya Bello is Ododo is the incumbents. So we won't test that. But she's quite popular and her people have come out. But the fact that we're talking about how women are treated in politics in 2025, when this democracy we all enjoy today was fought for by women like Gambusa Waba, speaks volumes of how we have gone down in our social and civic life in this country, and that we must change.
Well said. I mean, speaking to her popularity, Dr. Vatia, before I come to you, in the meantime, Senator Akpoti Uduaghan on Thursday launched the construction of a free maternity and child care center in Kogi State, set to be completed in 4 months. Well, according to her, the 20-bed facility will include 2 delivery rooms, an ICU center, and staff quarters to ensure round-the-clock medical care. Highlighting the unique challenges of pregnancy, Natacha stressed the need for accessible healthcare, especially in rural areas. She was received by a group of women who sang a special song in her honor. Let's take a look. I mean, I love that song, Natacha. I mean, she is actually... I don't know how to sing it, but I like it. Natacha, what does it say?
I don't know it. I think it's a local Iberian language.
I love it, I love it. But you know, Natacha's been doing so well for her constituents. I mean, beyond this, initiative, she's done so much. I went through her Facebook post, and I was in awe with everything that she's been doing. I mean, only recently, she gave out food, she gave out supplies, and we're seeing that she's continuing to engage with her group. I mean, only yesterday we talked about this woman who died because there was not enough facility or an emergency care center. She was pregnant and she couldn't get to a good clinic in time, or she couldn't pay 500,000 naira. But we're seeing Natacha Akpoti Uduaha here. You can talk about that. Go ahead, Dr. Abati.
Okay, the key issue before us is the recall process in Kogi Central and the announcement made by INEC yesterday. So I'll restrict myself to the subject, not 2027 election. That's not what we're discussing. Now, with specific regard to this, INEC has said the recall process with regard to Senator Akpoti Uduaha did not meet the constitutional requirement. And before now, INEC had made it clear that its only guidance, the only thing guiding it is the law, as provided for in the Constitution, in its own guidelines and regulations, and also in the Electoral Act. On the basis of that, INEC had previously announced that addresses were not given. Addresses, the particulars of the constituents who signed the petition of recall were then later provided. And the INEC has done a review, and they have now said, well, this doesn't get to the threshold of 50% plus one. And we had Mrs. Etta Mercy on this program, who said, well, what they have done so far is to just follow the law because they are not partisan in the matter. And I find it instructive that a lot of people have commended INEC for not being partisan, even when we tried to probe the director of voter education. She insisted that that's what they have done, following the law. I hope the same people who are praising INEC at this time will find cause to be fair to INEC when, the outcome of the process by INEC does not meet expectations. Number two is about the possible security implications of this. The group of concerned Kogi Central constituents that you have mentioned, they are saying that they will liaise with INEC and conduct another recall process. Well, the last time it happened, there was a lot on social media about people filling forms, about people signing and all that. This time around, I think all of us should be concerned about security in Kogi Central. Because this time around, if anybody goes there again, they organize any event, the supporters of Senator Natacha Akpoti Uduaha and even our agents, I don't think they are going to fold their arms. So, the security agencies must be prepared to ensure that there's no breakdown of law and order in Kogi Central on account of attempts by some persons to say they will start this process of recall de novo. Number three is the issue that I posed to Mrs. Etta Mercy about the deficiencies in the Nigerian Constitution. How is it so easy in this country for a governor to be removed? You just quote Section 305, you will say there is a declaration of state of emergency, a sole administrator will be appointed, and then, it's a done deal. But to remove a lawmaker, either at the House of Assembly or House of Reps, through the process of recall, is a very cumbersome difficult process? That is a question that we can look at again. But as Mrs. Etamesi pointed out in our conversation with her, it is the responsibility of the same legislature to do something about that. Now, what's the fourth point? Is the interview that you showed, Mrs. Senator, Akpabio Uduaghan speaking on Channels TV with Seun Okunbalwe. Now, she says at the right time and the right space,
yes, she
will provide evidence. Well, this is a matter of urgent national importance. We hope that that right time and that right space, will not be too long in coming, because, this subject has divided Nigerians.
Yes, it has.
Politically, emotionally, absolutely. And, several dimensions have been attached to this issue. Issue about sexual harassment, which she alleges, about victimization and discrimination in the National Assembly. I think we need to know more, because at the moment there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of, emotional interventions depending on which side of the problem you stand. I think Nigerians, we must insist, we want to know. Absolutely. Whatever is hidden should be exposed, so that we will have a better understanding of the sociology of power at the highest level of the National Assembly.
Well said, Dr. Abati. I mean, that interview, she reiterated that she's a lawyer, and so she knows what's coming.